Hello my dear students, how are you? I hope you are happy and enjoy good time and good health. Today inshallah we will talk about equations of value with simple answers. We'll resume solving the problems from number 7 to number 12. Let's start with number 7. A debitor owes $1,500 due in 1 year. He agrees to pay $500 in 3 months. If money is worth 13%, what payment must he make 15 months hence to retire the receipt of the debt? But for the focal date 15 months hence. The time diagram for this problem. There are 3 payments. $1,000, $1,500 old obligation reserve after 12 months, and the other new obligations $500 reserve after 3 months, X reserve after 15 months. We will replace one old obligation with 2 new obligations. So we need to get the value of old obligations to be equal to the value of new obligations. The value of old obligations, 1,500, must be equal to the value of new obligations, value of 500 plus value of X. So to get the value of $1,500, we must get the amount for this payment by using formula of S equal B times 1 plus RT, and for 3 months with interest rate at 13%. In the other way, we must get the amount for $500 also by using the formula of S equal B times 1 plus RT. For R 13% and T will be equal 12 months. The time here, it's a distance between the maturity date and the focal date. So X, the value of X will be equal X. The main formula, value of old obligations equal to value of new obligations. Value of old obligations, $1,500 times 1 plus 13% by 3 over 12 to get $1,548.75. The left hand side, X plus the value of $500 for 1 year with 13%. So X will be equal 983.75. In this problem, true or false? Value of old obligations equal value of new obligations after 1 year. It's true. Also, old obligations equal to new obligations after 15 months. It's true. Old obligations equal new obligations. It's false. Exercise number 8. A woman owes $600. She and her creditor agree that she can pay $2,000 now and the balance in 6 months. Find the payment in 6 months if the settlement is based on an interest rate of 16% and the focal date is 6 months hence. By the same way, the old obligations $6,000, we will exchange one old obligation with two new obligations. First of all, $2,000 now and X after 6 months. By putting focal date after 6 months, so the amount of old obligations equal to the amount of new obligations. So we'll get the amount for $6,000 for 6 months with a rate of 16%, and it will be equal to the amount of $2,000 plus X. So value of old obligations equal to value of new obligations. $6,000 times 1 plus 16% times 6 over 12 equal to $2,000 times 1 plus 16% by 6 over 12 plus X. So X will be equal 4,320. We can solve this exercise, this problem, by another way. By getting the difference between $6,000 and $2,000, which is equal $4,000, and getting the amount for $4,000 after 6 months. So X will be equal the amount for $4,000. Other solution: value of old obligations must be equal value of new obligations. The receipt at the beginning of time, $6,000 minus $2,000 equal $4,000. By using formula of S equal B times 1 plus RT, B equal $4,000, R equal 16%, T equal 6 months. So X will be equal 4,320. 4,320. It's the same result. Another exercise. A man incurs a debt of $2,000 due in 3 months with interest at 13%. 1 month later, he pays $500 on the debt. What balance will he owe on the original due debt if the two parties to the transaction agree to use 13% in arriving at settlement? Focal date is 3 months hence. Let's draw the time diagram. The time diagram shows that there is $2,000 we will deserve after 3 months with 13%. So we will use formula of S equal B times 1 plus RT, which will be equal $2,056. This is the old obligation. And for the new obligation, there is $500 deserved after 1 month and X deserved after 3 months. So value of old obligations must be equal value of new obligations. At the beginning, value of old obligations, getting the amount of $2,000, which is equal $2,065. The right hand side, value of new obligations, the amount of $500 plus X. The amount for $500 will be for 2 months from the maturity date of the payment to focal date. So the value of $500 will be equal $510.833 plus x will be equal 2065. So x will be equal $1,554.1667. Exercise number 10. A family buys merchandise and agrees to pay $2,500 in 2 months. 1 month later, they pay $800 in the debt. What balance will they owe after 2 months? If the creditor agrees to use 18% in arriving at a settlement, book date is 2 months hence. Let's start with time diagram. We will replace one old obligation with 2 old obligations. Note that we will use $2,500 as it is. We will not getting the amount for this payment because of, he says in the problem, a family buys merchandise and agreed to pay $2,500 in 2 months without interest. If he says that $2,500 in 2 months with interest of any interest rate, I must get the amount for $2,500 in this case. In our example, I'll use the payment of $2,500 after 2 months, and we will replace them with the first payment after 1 month, which is equal $800, and the other equal X after 2 months. We need to get the unknown payment, so the value of all the obligations, which is equal $2,500, must be equal to the value of $800 plus the value of X. The value of $800 means that we must getting the amount for this payment by using the formula of S equal B times 1 plus RT, and for B equal $800 and R equal 18% and T for 1 month, and the value for X equal X. So value of old obligations must be equal value of new obligations. $2,500 equal 800 times 1 plus 18% by 1 over 12 plus X. So X will be equal 1,688. Exercise number 11. A company has an investment opportunity that would require spending $9,200 now. The investment is expected to be worth $10,000 in 1 year. What is its net present value at 8%? B at 10%. To solve this exercise, we must follow the next 3 steps. At the beginning, drawing the time diagram and get the inflows and outflows at their proper points in time. Secondly, select a focal date or a comparison date. Finally, write an equation of value. Let's start with time diagram. The $9,200 represent the expenses, the cash outflow to get the revenue or to get the cash inflow. So now the expenses equal $9,200 that expect to earn after 1 year $10,000. So the cash inflow after 1 year will be equal $10,000. We need to compare between the two present value of $9,200 and $10,000. So $9,200 now, the present value equal the same $9,200 without amount or present value. And for $10,000 I must get P, the present value, by using formula of P equal S over 1 plus RT. The main formula here, the net present value equal to present value of inflows minus present value of outflows. It's clear that the present value of inflows with a positive sign and the present value of outflows with a negative sign. So P equal $10,000 over 1 plus 8% times 1. This is the present value of inflows minus the present value of outflows equal to the payment $9,200. So the net present value X equal to $59.26. At the second, we need to use the rate of 10%. X equal 10,000 over 1 plus 10% by 1 minus $9,200 to get the net present value, which is equal negative $1,109.9. So by using 8%, the result was positive, and by using 10%, the result was negative. Another example. An investment requires a cash outlay of $4,200. It is estimated that the investment will return $5,000 in 1 year. It's estimated that the investment will return $5,000 in 1 year. So the cash outflow here equal to $4,200. The cash inflow equal to $5,000. The required find the net present value at 12%, B at 16%. Also, we need to draw the timeline or time diagram. $4,200 now, it will be equal to it will be earned or become $5,000 after 1 year. So we need to compare between the two payments. We must determine the point of time, which is called the focal date or a comparison date. To get the present value, we compare now. We need to get the net present value. So there are more than one present value. The present value for the outflow and the present value for the inflow. the net present value equal to the present value for the inflow minus the present value for the outflow. The present value for the outflow equal to $4,200. So we need to get P for $5,000. So net present value equal to the present value of inflows minus present value of outflows. At the first with 12%, the present value of inflows $5,000 over 1 plus 12% by 1 after 1 year. So the present value of inflows must be equal 4,464 minus the present value of outflows, which is equal $4,200. So X will be equal $264.286. This is the net present value with 12%. The next required, get the net present value with 16%. Net present value equal to present value of the inflows minus present value of outflows with 16%. So X will be equal $5,000 over 1 plus 16% by 1, which is equal 4,310.344 minus the present value of outflows, which is equal $4,200. So the net present value with 16% will be equal 110.344. It's clear that the net present value for with 16% is less than the net present value with 12%. Thank you for watching. Be safe. See you next time.